Hey, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today we want to talk about some updates with Electroneum, the Mobile World Congress happening in a few days, some surprisingly, potentially good announcements coming out of the Electroneum camp. And I may sound a little bit nasally today, dealing with some allergies. Please bear with me. So, in this video, guys, I want to talk to you all a little bit about uh, what these potential surprises could be, and a little bit about the overall future of Electroneum. Before I really get into it and begin, I really like the Electroneum community. But whilst I was watching an All About Tech video earlier, he did something I very much appreciated. And that was he spoke a great deal about not releasing information and overhyping Electroneum, because these things can act like a double-edged sword. You got to be real careful. Electroneum does a good job of building up its brand and product, and I think my view of it is it's best to just focus on those products and what they could potentially be. I think we kind of lead off into dangerous territory when we overhype things and sometimes put out information that may not be accurate, and it could be kind of damaging. So, in saying that, looking at what some of these surprises could be, um, you know, I'll say it this way. I'll say which what I would like to hear. I would like to hear something like the gig economy being established. Now, that's kind of been on the horizon, and my guess is it's probably going to be that. But the gig economy is very important. It's going to be very important to the process, because that is going to be actual use of Electroneum through a marketplace where you can exchange its valuable, actually use it, right? Actually use it as this money, as this payment system. Very similar to what would be accomplished with the phone minute system, where you're able to purchase these phone minutes and the value of these phone minutes, use them effectively as a currency, as they already pretty much use these phone minutes to trade for goods and services, right? So that is a very good market for Electroneum. Um, and so I'm looking and I'm hoping it's the gig economy, which is going to create this much more well use case ecosystem for Electroneum, for people to trade services and goods, to actually do it in Electroneum at a large scale. And I think that's going to be very, very important going forward. Your vendors, the markets that accept your cryptocurrency is very, very important, right? So I want to want to expand on that, go a little bit into the future of Electroneum, or what I think is going to look like. So I'm on this site, the Digital Currency Group, that's come up quite a bit in some of my videos. This is an interesting group, and this group is. I've had some run-ins with this group in the past. I don't mean run-ins in a bad way. I mean, I have been indirectly exposed to this group um, uh, in earlier parts of my career in the investment business before. I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about that today, and tell you some of the signs I look for now in dealing with this group, and what I've seen with this group. So the founders, his name is Barry Silber. Prior to founding the Digital Currency Group, Barry founded Second Market, sold to NASDAQ in 2015. Before becoming an entrepreneur, Barry was an investment banker at Houlihan Lokey and graduated with honors from the Goizueto Business School of Emory University. Barry has received many accolades, including being named Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young and Cranes, and being selected to Fortune's prestigious 40 Under 40 list. He has a long-standing passion for investing in great entrepreneurs with big ideas, and has a knack for disruption himself. So he's kind of like this rebel, right? So let me get into why all this I think is relevant. So Second Market, when I was in the investment firm business and then went over to the venture capital business, Second Market was a way for what we would do something called private placements, was basically securities that were part of the private market, but not the public market. And what Barry Silbert did was establish his own version of the NASDAQ. Obviously, NASDAQ saw him as a threat, and they went on to buy him out, right? And I know this because a lot of the projects I was working on at the time were going to second market. But it's a little bit more to the story than that. After I left the investment business, I then got into virtual world economies, and I was one of the first people, maybe the first of five, to establish a stock market throughout virtual worlds. Interesting enough, another person was involved in a similar business like that. His name was Brock Pierce. You know him from the cryptocurrency space, well-renowned, billionaire, invested in every major cryptocurrency, right? And I say all that to say this, that the portfolio of this group is very telltale. In this type of business, you're looking out 10 years on investments. Very seldom does something get under your nose that you aren't aware of. And when we think about market capitalization of cryptocurrencies, as I go back and I look back on my career in the investment business, and I think about some things now that were going on then that affect the now, these guys were decades ahead of this, a lot of these things, a lot of these projects, decades ahead of it. And they would get into these projects with billions upon billions of dollars, right? Investing in all these major companies and cryptocurrencies and businesses, Blockstream, you name it, BitPay, Ripple, Brave, all of them, they're holding this stuff, right? And it's a reason they're holding it. Now, the reason I'm bringing this all up, this is what I'm trying to impart to you all. And that is that a lot of the money that we see moving now in the cryptocurrency space amongst many of these top 20 coins and these big projects, it is these guys. I'm quite sure it is them. And when the billions go in and they disappear, it might, I'm not saying that, that it's manipulation by them. I'm not saying that at all. On the contrary, venture capitalists like this, they want to make money, right? But they have already gathered enough intel and data. The reason I know that is because 12, 14 hours a day, that's what we did, right? Losing money meant that you lost your job. So you couldn't have something sneak up on you and not be invested in it. And so a lot of these cryptocurrencies, they're already invested in. Now, I don't see Electroneum here on the roadmap, right? And so some of the videos I did a little bit earlier, I think it kind of rubbed some people the wrong way because through my analysis, it might have came off like I didn't really believe in Electroneum or that I was starting to get anti-Electroneum. And that's very much not the case. I think Electroneum is a great product and a great service, and it's going to see some big returns. I could see Electroneum, my view, this is just my view, and this is just my opinion of Electroneum. I could see Electroneum easily with a market capitalization of about $200 to $300 million, right? And at its current market cap, talking 5 to 6 times. Now, I know for some of you all that might not be a big deal. I know for some of you all that's you want to go all the way to the top 10 or the top 1 maybe. And there's nothing wrong with that, theoretically in cryptocurrency. The reality is these cryptocurrencies can achieve any value or any price possible, right? But guys, this is just my analysis, based on my past and, watching other groups and how they operate and where they see the cryptocurrency going in the next several years, right? And so obviously I could be wrong. But for me, guys, getting 5 to 6 times return on your investment with Electroneum, as this thing's like a fraction of a penny now, to me, that's good, right? That's good. Some of you might want to see $1. Some of you might want to see $10. Maybe that may happen. I don't know. But my opinion would be at this point in time that a market cap $200 to $300 million is a very good market cap for Electroneum, based on some of the components that exist today in the cryptocurrency space about how money is moved, how it's derived. You think about companies like EOS, it's these same guys, involved with getting $4 billion. Maybe not specifically the digital currency group, but people who run in their circle. They're responsible for getting EOS billions of dollars, right? And so I guess the point I'm trying to make, guys, is a lot of money that's moving right now throughout the cryptocurrency space isn't really grassroots. It's not your grandmother and it's not your father who came in and said, I'm going to put my, I'm going to put my, everything in the piggy bank in here. It's these groups that are propelling this market as we see it today. And how they move and where they move is very important to where this market is going to go. And that said, guys, I think that's something we just have to be mindful of. Now, if you fall in the camp where you think that Electroneum should be a better coin, coins always evolve and they always change and they can move better. But I just have to give you guys the best, analysis I can. Right, it's all up to us to do our own due diligence on the subject. But looking at that, that's kind of what I come up with. But getting back to the gig economy, to get closer to that, if one of the announcements is the release of the gig economy, then obviously that's going to be a good thing because that moves us close to this economy that actually uses Electroneum, right? The purchasing of the mobile minutes and the gig economy to where the goods and services from the East is met by the West, right? Now we can move business back and forth and you can pay these people in Electroneum. They can be phone operators. They can be call center operators. They can trade their technical know-how, services, computer services for Electroneum. And if established right and marketed right, this could be something that is very good for Electroneum and its value. Now, do I think realistically that will make it $1 billion coin or $4 or $5 billion coin? At this point in time, no. Can that change? Yes. But that's just where I'm at with it, guys. But for me, if I can make 5-6 times return on my investment, that's a great return. That's a great investment. But not only that, community is very important to these cryptocurrencies, right? And Electroneum has a great community, and so I'm definitely behind that. And but that's just my view, guys, of how I see Electroneum going. And I just want to balance everything. We got a lot of different people who bring different content about Electroneum. We got people who have really good inspirational, uplifting messages about Electroneum. We got, people who are a little bit more technical, with the charts and graphs on Electroneum. You got a lot of little people, I think, like more myself, that are a little bit going with the fundamentals of who's actually using it and who may use it and how big this market will expand in relation to the other markets that exist in a common area. And so all those things coupled, we all kind of come up with our different views. And this kind of creates and makes the community what it is, right? But for me, Electroneum, even if it's a top 50 coin, that is still a good coin. I think that's still top. If you're in the top 50, you're still a pretty darn good coin. And I believe Electroneum is going to get back in that top 50 range. I believe, in my opinion, it'll be holding around $200-300 million quite easily. Not just saying what it can hit, what can it hold that and be sustainable with. And my view is a $200-300 million area. Now, of course, that can all change with new developments, what's happening next. But I guess the point I'm trying to make too is that the way that this cryptocurrency market works at this time, because of the size of it, guys, I think it is still very much a bit controlled, right? As far as what happens, where money comes in and goes out. In the future, that will change and it'll get a lot harder to do that. But at this point in time, that is still what's going on, and that's still what's happening. I believe, in my opinion. But guys, that's all I want to say in this video. I believe Electroneum has a good future going forward over the next few months. Looking forward to what comes out after the Mobile World Congress. And guys, that's all I want to say in this video. Oh, one more thing. Got to get this in here, right? You guys, we're having that Electroneum and Ripple contest for this month. It will end on the last day of the month. Electroneum still looks good. Ripple looks real good too. The last several entries have come from Ripple. I haven't done the tallies yet. They won't be to the end of the month. But what it looks like to me is that this is going to be a real good contest, a little bit closer than it was last month. And that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted it closer. But Ripple is in the running. Electroneum start off real strong in the beginning, but now Ripple seems to be catching up. But again, haven't tied the vote, just making you all aware. And that will end the last day of the month. You can win some Electroneum and some Ripple. But that's all I got in this video, guys. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. And until next time, take care.